Was Saturday Night Live star Pete Davidson in on the jokes or just the butt of them? You might be surprised how he felt about his co-stars. Pete Davidson has famously been very open about his struggles with mental health and depression. He attributes at least some of his mental health challenges to a terrible tragedy he suffered as a child. His father was one of the many firefighters who died during the tragic 9/11 terrorist attacks in New York City. Davidson spoke about the tragedy on Jon Bernthal's Real Ones podcast, admitting that he went without closure for a long time.
My dad told me he was going to pick me up from school on 9/11. I got picked up by my mom. She didn't tell me what was going on for like 3 days.
Davidson was just 7 years old at the time. He said that his mother told him that his father was still at work, but he eventually learned the truth when he saw a TV news broadcast revealing that his father, Scott, had died.
And then one night I turned on the TV and I just saw my dad on TV and I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, these are all the firemen that are like dead.
Davidson revealed that he was later diagnosed with borderline personality disorder as well as PTSD. Both conditions he feels stem from the abandonment he felt in the wake of his father's death. He said, "You know, Dad says he's coming to pick you up and he doesn't. For life, I'm like, I don't believe anyone and I'm trying to learn how to believe people. And Hollywood isn't exactly the greatest place to learn that skill." Davidson revisited the experience in his semi-autobiographical 2020 film, The King of Staten Island, which proved to be a very personal experience for him.
I don't go to the firehouse. Like I had to hang out with those boys again. Seeing that in person was a lot.
The sudden loss of his father at a young age quickly imprinted on Pete Davidson's life. He told Variety that from that time, he experienced serious mental health challenges, including at least one attempt to take his own life. "I've been in and out of mental health facilities since I was 9. I tried to drown myself in the pool when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. I was trying to get my head stuck in the ladder in the deep end so I would not be able to get up, but I'm too much of a and my head is too small." Davidson's history of mental health struggles also led him to self-harm. In an interview with Charlemagne the God, he admitted he started getting tattoos to hide scars on his chest, which came from cutting himself. Luckily, he eventually learned healthier strategies for dealing with depression.
You go to rehab, you learn you could take a cold shower, you could work out, you could listen to music really loud.
Ultimately, comedy was one thing that gave Davidson motivation on some of his hardest days, and he shared that it's helped him approach life with more levity. "To learn how anything can just be taken away from you early gave me the sense of f it, whatever dude. I'm able to do stand-up and f around because hopefully the worst thing that has ever happened to me happened." Davidson made headlines in the fall of 2023 when he crashed the side of his SUV into a wall after leaving his stand-up comedy show at the Wiltern in Los Angeles. The comedian reportedly left his show around 10 p.m. before sideswiping a wall with his GMC while leaving the venue. The accident left the former SNL star's vehicle covered in white scrapes starting at the back door and reaching to the back wheel. Just months prior, in June 2023, the comedian was charged with reckless driving for crashing his vehicle into a Beverly Hills home at the start of the year. The Staten Island native was driving his Mercedes-Benz at the time with his then-girlfriend, Chase Sweet Wonders, when he popped a curb, hit a fire hydrant, and skidded all the way into the side of a residential home. Police said that Davidson had been driving at high speeds when the incident occurred.
Here's where Davidson's car hit a fire hydrant, jumped the curb, and narrowly avoided missing this giant tree.
Davidson has said that depression is a lifelong struggle of his, telling Charlemagne the God that he's always depressed. Despite his mental health struggles, Davidson learned to create routines and coping skills in order to combat his changes in mood. "I wake up depressed, but now I know my steps. I have to go outside and be in the sun for a little bit or go for a walk."
It's all just programming yourself to trick your brain.
The stand-up comedian revealed that he also struggles with suicidal thoughts, but the support of his family members has made a positive difference. "My rock bottom is when people are scared for my life and I have to go away, and then I have to bring myself back up again. I think I've hit it a few times. As long as you're around good, supportive people, and if you're strong enough, you'll be able to get out of it." Writing skits and comedy sketches have given Davidson the motivation to live without being bogged down by negative thoughts. To alleviate his mood, he admitted to using ketamine, a dissociative sedative sometimes used for its hallucinogenic effects, daily for years, until he checked himself into rehab in 2023. Davidson has a history of disabling and re-enabling his social media accounts, but one particular incident led fans into a panic. The comedian took to Instagram in 2018 and wrote in a since-deleted post, "I really don't want to be on this earth anymore. I'm doing my best to stay here for you, but I actually don't know how much longer I can last. All I've ever tried to do was help people. Just remember I told you so." The message came shortly after his ex-fiancée, Ariana Grande, got mixed up in a Twitter feud involving Kanye West, which escalated when Davidson posted on Instagram Instagram in support of Kanye and his public discussions of mental health issues. Reportedly, Davidson refused to see Grande after the singer attempted to check on him following his later cryptic post. He did, however, hang out with Machine Gun Kelly when the rapper paid the comedian a visit following the controversy, and he also appeared on SNL with John Mulaney to briefly address the situation in his usual style.
After observing John's life, I publicly threatened suicide. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't make that joke.
Pete Davidson is one of many celebrities who have been diagnosed with Crohn's disease. The condition causes inflammation in the digestive tract, which in turn causes all sorts of problems, from malnutrition to abdominal pain to fatigue and weight loss. Davidson spoke to High Times about being diagnosed with the disease at 17 years old, admitting that marijuana helped him combat the side effects. Weed would be the only thing that would help me eat. My stomach would just be in pain all day, and then I wouldn't be able to eat, and then I'd smoke, and I'd be able to eat and do my shows. He went on to admit that he depends on marijuana for his day-to-day life, confessing, "I wouldn't be able to do SNL if I didn't smoke weed. I wouldn't be able to do anything, really." Despite publicly championing Kanye West for speaking on mental health issues, Davidson and West ended up getting involved in a beef of their own in 2022, when the rapper's ex-wife Kim Kardashian and Davidson started dating. West proceeded to attack and threaten Davidson online and in music following the news. In the single City of Gods, he raps, "This afternoon, 100 goons pulling up to SNL. When I pull up, it's dead on arrival." The feud got even more vicious when a nasty text message exchange between Davidson and West was leaked. During the argument, Davidson sent West a selfie famously captioned, "In bed with your wife." The rapper later responded by releasing a graphic music video for Easy, featuring a claymation Davidson being tortured. Ultimately, the beef fizzled out, just as Davidson's relationship with Kardashian did in 2022.
Kanye, I know you're like, yo, this is the real me. I'm off the meds. Take them.
Davidson is not afraid to talk about his many stints in rehab over the years. In an interview with Charlemagne the God, the comedian got candid about seeking help for his mental health, saying that it shouldn't be taboo to talk about it. In fact, he has gone to rehab multiple times, in part to readjust his medications for bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress. "I don't think going to rehab is that big of a deal. I think it's a really strong, powerful thing, and some of the most beautiful, cool people you ever meet are there." Davidson explained there's a misconception that rehab centers are only used by stars to get help for drug addiction. Some people are sad, some people got to work and figure their stuff out. The beautiful thing about rehab is that they get you sober, so that they can figure out what the problem is. In typical Davidson fashion, his rehab stints have become the butt of the joke. At a comedy show with John Mulaney and Jon Stewart, he jokingly told the crowd, "I am fresh out of rehab, everyone. I got that post-rehab glow. 7th time's the charm." The comedian got candid about his former SNL castmates, and it's not what you might expect. In his interview with Charlemagne the God in 2020, the comedian revealed that he knew he should step away from the show after getting tired of being the butt of the joke. "I personally think I should be done with that show because they make fun of me on it. I'm like cold open, political punchlines, I'm like weekend update jokes. Like, whose side are you on?" Davidson admitted that though he liked his castmates, it was hard for him to know who he could trust while being a member of the cast. "I have a weird feeling in that building where I don't know whose team they're playing for really. I'm the joke or I'm in on the joke."
I'm gonna miss you, Pete.
Oh, well, thanks, Colin, even though I know it says that on your cue card.
Davidson went on to describe the environment as cutthroat and said that everyone wants to be the next thing in the comedy world.
You're not gonna get coddled over there. You know, they don't give a at the end of the day.
The star also revealed that he lived with a fear of getting fired for his first 3 years on SNL. Citing the immense pressure cast members feel to succeed and build lasting careers, Davidson admitted it was a scary place to work, but he also credited the show for helping him become a better performer and comedian. With a laundry list of beautiful women for ex-girlfriends, it's no question that Pete Davidson has constantly wound up in the tabloids over his dating life. Ariana Grande, Kim Kardashian, Kate Beckinsale, Phoebe Dynevor, and Kaya Gerber are just some of the ladies the comedian has been romantically linked to. While Davidson might be one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, he doesn't understand why the tabloids have scrutinized his dating life. He said on the Real Ones podcast, "I'm in my 20s and I've dated people, and for some reason, that's very crazy and interesting to people. I don't think it's interesting. In 12 years, I've dated 10 people. I don't think that's that crazy. But to some people, that's very interesting." That became all anyone would talk about. The stand-up comedian admitted to feeling insecure when SNL skits constantly brought up his dating life as punchlines, joking that his beautiful exes are out of his league. I'd be sitting in the back watching the cold open, and the cold open is topical, political humor, whatever's in the culture, and then making fun of you. Then you've got to walk out and do a sketch next and hit your mark, and the show just made fun of you. At the end of the day, that's what it is. This was a really difficult thing to do. You feel small. You feel super insecure. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please dial or text 988 to speak with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can also seek help by visiting 988lifeline.org.